All right, let's go to the running backs. Chase Brown, who's been just an absolute disappointment to fantasy managers everywhere this season. He is running back 33 in points per game this year. He's got the Steelers. Matthew, he stays in your top 30 this week, I believe.
No, he's 33, so he's just outside my top 30. Just one spot ahead of the original Chubler.
Definitely a backup producer, Pete.
Yeah, obviously. Again,
Be better. Be better.
He doesn't want to be better.
I've been told that he's RB 27 for you.
No, the fantasy league.
The streets are saying he's RB 27 for you, but you, the man that does the rankings, is saying he's not. So I don't know what's true.
It's all good. Either way, the point is, whether he's 27, whether he's 33, whether he's 100, am I closing it out on Chase Brown? I am. Now, not in our league because my team is so awful that I have no choice but to start him. But in normal leagues, in leagues in which you have not just been decimated by injuries or drafted horribly, both of which I have done, I don't know how you can start this guy. The argument, they're playing Pittsburgh on a short week. Now, the light that you're holding out hope for on Chase Brown is that maybe that he gets a bunch of dump-offs here, but we just haven't seen it. The concerns on the pro Chase Brown argument in the preseason was, well, it's going to be a really good offense, with Joe Burrow, and he's going to get all the work. All right, and this is a guy that was awesome down the stretch. Well, so far, none of those things are true anymore. Obviously, the offense has fallen way off without Joe Burrow. It showed signs of life under Joe Flacco last week. But the other thing is that in that game with Joe Flacco, Chase Brown didn't play the whole time. Samaje Perine played 47% of the snaps each of the last 2 weeks. That's over the last 2 weeks. It's basically in a timeshare. Chase Brown has had a less than a 55% snap share each of the last 2 weeks. Samaje Perine, 47% over the last 2 weeks. And so you think about the Steelers defense that allow the 6th fewest rushing yards to opposing running backs. If they're using Perine more in the passing game, which over the last 2 weeks, that's what it seems like they do. And given the lack of mobility of Joe Flacco and TJ Watt, it's clear that they trust Perine and pass protection more, which makes sense. That's always been kind of his calling card. It's just super nervous. 4 straight games with under 15 touches for Chase Brown. Again, the play and the argument in the preseason was this guy's going to get massive volume. He's not getting massive volume. The volume he's getting he hasn't been productive with, and the offense is just bad.
Run game stinks. Yeah,
yes,
they can't run block.
The line is terrible. It's probably the worst line in the NFL.
Yeah, it probably is. And also I think that often teams come out of the bye and they change how they do things. And I think the Steelers found some stuff in their bye and their defense. Now, I understand it was against Dylan Gabriel and the Browns offense, but still their defense, that was their best performance of the year. They did a much better job against Gabriel than the Vikings did the previous week. And they're just healthier as well. Derek Harmon is getting more integrated. Alex Highsmith is back. TJ Watt looked much better in that game than he had in previous games. So it's a brutal matchup. Samaje Perine as well. He just keeps popping up. He's always popping up. He kind of disrupts the Chiefs backfield. He's out there with the Super Bowl on the line in 2021. Samaje Perine. He could be anywhere.
Yeah. Former Washington Commander, great Samaje Perine. Right. Started his career when the team was another name. But we love Samaje Perine.
Sure.
He's done nothing wrong. It's not his fault that Chase Brown's been terrible. Yeah, exactly. Austin Mitchell says better off flexing Travion Henderson or Sterling Shepard over Chase Brown. At least with Travion Henderson, Connor, there's some upside there, right?
Yeah. I like Shepard's floor, honestly.
Sure. Yeah.
Shepard should get you 10 points, which is saying more than what the other two guys can do sometimes.
I'd still go Chase.
Yeah, look, I mean, what'd you say?
I'd still go Chase Brown. I think he has by far, well, not by far, but I think he has the most chance of getting in the end zone. He has the most chance of just accumulating cheap points as well.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I have Henderson 2 spots below Chase Brown in my ranks this week, but in terms of upside, right? I mean, I'm sorry, if Chase Brown's ahead, anyway, the point here is that Sterling Shepard, to your point about,
What? Total chaos right now. He's losing his mind. You're trying to find your thoughts. He's laughing. I don't know who to listen to.
You understand what's going on in my ear. I have an earpiece in my ear, and Pete is speaking into it, and he is speaking nonsense, and he's changing his mind left and right. It's literally this is what's happening in the control room. I just want you guys to see it. Here's what's Pete is like this.
Newspaper hands.
Exactly. Pete's Pete's scrolling TikTok, and he's just doing this, and he's like, oh yeah, it's 23. Oh no, hang on. I mean, 27. I mean, wait, Jay, it's like, what? I mean, it's just like, it is Keystone Cops back there. It is awful.
I know what Russell Crowe heard in his ear when it all went south in A Beautiful Mind. That's basically what I'm going through right now.
Right, exactly. Segment 2, we're going to see backup producer Pete like doing this, you know, the craziness and the beautiful.
Comment from Will Garrettson, producer Pete calling audibles at the line of scrimmage. Yeah, but it's like it's Will Levis calling audibles.
Yeah. Will Levis, why are you checking out of the play?
No, right. He's checking out of a play that would score a touchdown to like take a quarterback kneel. Kneel down. Like, and we're like, we're down 6. What are you doing? It's just it's unbelievable. Here's the last thing I want to just say about that. I think is that Henderson. There's obviously a much wider range of outcomes for Henderson. Chase Brown is somebody that could, hopefully gets you 10 points with some like cheap dump offs, and maybe he has a chance to fall in the end zone. I will say to Connor's point about the floor of Sterling Shepard, we don't know yet whether or not Mike Evans is coming back this week. There's hope that he could play this week, but even if he does, Shepard, who plays the slot, I think his Evans' availability is what will dictate whether we think Tez Johnson or Cameron Johnson have an opportunity this week. But Sterling Shepard's role, we're not expecting Godwin back. We're not expecting Ibuka back this week. So Sterling Shepard is the guy that I think has the most safe role in that Buccaneers offense, regardless of what happens to Evans.
Yeah, and if you're starting Henderson, you're hoping that Mike Vrabel wants some style points as revenge against Tennessee. And he might, by the way.
He absolutely
might. So there's some thought process there. Jaylen Warren in this game, only one more touch than Kenneth Gainwell last week, Matthew. It looks like while Warren was out, Gainwell proved himself to be a part of this backfield going forward.
Rightfully so, but so I'm still keeping it open on Jaylen Warren, and I'm encouraged by, I get the Gainwell thing, but what's important to me is that when they get in close, they like Jaylen Warren. He caught a lot of passes. Well, to your point about Aaron Rodgers being sort of a stats merchant, he loves dumping it off to Jaylen Warren. He trusts Jaylen Warren as well. No running back has a higher percentage of their team's red zone rushes this season than Jaylen Warren. He's got 87% of the Steelers' red zone rushes. And then you think about this matchup against the Bengals that we just talked about here. They're giving up 166 yards to scrimmage to running backs. They've given at least 16.9 fantasy points to a running back in every single game this year. So I have Jaylen Warren at running back 15. I'm keeping it open. I'm not as concerned about Kenneth Gainwell, but I think the matchup is so good against Cincinnati that Gainwell has some PPR flex appeal as well.
Yeah, definitely. I thought the Steelers offense looked pretty rough the first 4 weeks. Out of the bye, they changed what they did. They brought in an extra offensive lineman for more protection. They're playing a lot more Darnell Washington. I think Arthur Smith is a good offensive coordinator as much as we pile on him for fantasy reasons. I think that he gets the most out of his personnel. And Rodgers just looked a lot more comfortable. So I think that this offense, I don't think it's going to be an amazing offense. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to win MVP. But I do think that there is a bit more of a ceiling and more scoring potential than I thought there would have been a couple weeks ago.
I'm going to say something you won't believe. I completely agree with you. Look, we like to have fun with Arthur Smith, and he drives us crazy in the world of fantasy football. But I agree with you. I think he is a good offensive coordinator. I think he does a good job of looking at what he has and working. I mean, he made Marcus Mariota work there for a while. He calls a very good run game. He calls a very good run game, and he sets up play action nicely. And so the Steelers' offense has looked much better than I think its personnel gives it a right to.
Yep.
I agree with you. I think he's a good coordinator.
I'm not forgiving him for Bijan Robinson's.
It's insane for fantasy football, but
the two big knocks on Arthur Smith in Atlanta were, why don't you use Kyle Pitts more, and why does Tyler Algier play so much? Well, yeah, he used Tyler Algier too much. Tyler Algier is really good, and he's still getting used a lot. And Kyle Pitts has done, not a great deal as well. So I don't think that he has been proven. I don't think there's been total vindication, but at the same time, I don't think those moves look terrible in reflection.
Well, and the other thing is that Kyle Pitts can't block. Yep. That's it. Like when he was going for a run-heavy scheme in Atlanta, and Jonnu Smith was a better blocker. That's why he's just had Jonnu Smith with him every stop because, Jonnu's just a really good fit for the kind of stuff he likes to do on offense. We get a comment here from CW_1015. This feels like a question for you here, Mr. Croucher. Mm-hmm. Hey, fellas, will we see another big upset on TNF worth taking Bengals on the money line? What about a Chase anytime touchdown? #FFHH, #regular.
I like the Bengals getting 5.5 points.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to check if that line still exists. That was the opening line. I want to see if that's where it's at. But a money line would be rich for me. It's still 5.5.
I think the Steelers. I think the Steelers have turned themselves into a pretty solid team. And
I
think that the Bengals, it is a lot of points on the road, but I do think that the thing with Rodgers is if you get him under pressure, he just can't move anymore. I don't think the Bengals are going to generate a ton of pressure, particularly with Trey Hendrickson, a bit of a concern. So I think the Steelers will win. Chase Brown, depends on the price, which I don't know off the top of my head. But yeah, he's a reasonable chance to score a touchdown just because he is the starting running back for a team that we suspect is going to be playing from behind. And Flacco, for all his sins, like Flacco was very close to being able to drive down the field to beat the Packers if Jordan Love doesn't convert that 3rd and 8 at the end. So I think this is going to be a competent offense.
Beat the Packers
again. I do too, but to his point, I could see this being an upset. I agree with you. I like the Bengals plus 5.5. I think at home, they showed some fight against the Packers. I think the team's probably going to buy into Flacco as being a viable option as well. Anytime you're at home on a short week, you got a chance. Listen, NFL, wacky stuff happens all the time, and they've got Jamar Chase on their team. Like there's certainly within the range of outcomes that Jamar Chase just goes nuclear because he can do that in any single week, right? Chase Brown is plus 120 anytime touchdown scorer. Yeah, Jamar Chase plus 135. Probably prefer Chase.
I would say Chase's price for
sure.
Yeah,
Jamar's.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.